Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, November 4th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantras for today is I expand in my ability to face and evolve my shadow. So we are in one half of expansion mode, one half revolution evolution day. One day before the election officially takes place, and we've got some shifty planets. While we had the weekend, we had Mercury move into Sagittarius, and a few hours from recording this, we're going to have Mars move into Leo. So we have some fire flames coming up. How was your weekend with that Mars-Pluto opposition? I heard from some people that they thought it would be worse. I had some people be like, I thought it was fine, and then I got upset, and then it was better. And then I had some people who were like, rage. So what was your experience of it? Definitely depends on how it works its way in your chart and what you are carrying personally. But I would say, while the peak of it is over, please still tread carefully, tread awarely, and realize that we are going to have a few more passes of this Mars-Pluto in close connection, because while Mars is moving into Leo, it is already in its shadow and will be going retrograde at the beginning of December. It's not getting very far. So where do we want to start for today? Let's start with Mercury in Sagittarius, because that moved in on Saturday. This is also going to be retrograde. We actually are ending the year with some major retrograde energies. And when I was talking about the astro to my year ahead reading people, I was like, okay, it's going to be slow at first, and then it's going to get really, really fast, like you're on a speedboat, and then the end is going to like kind of slow down and get a little chaotic. So here we are approaching the slow down chaotic part. Mercury will be going on retrograde on the 25th in the sign of Sagittarius. In just a few days, I believe it's like the 7th is when it's going to be hitting, might be a little bit before then, but that's when it's going to be hitting, like digging into its shadow period. So we're already needing to be paying attention to the lessons that Mercury and Sagittarius has for us, which are lessons of trying to look at things from a higher perspective, to approach things with wisdom, with knowledge. That's one of the things that astrology does. Why astrology is so amazing to me is because it is a study of patterns. And what an astrologer does is notice and study the patterns, right? And so with Mercury and Sagittarius, we can all be an astrologer. We can all notice the patterns. Some of us may connect it to how the stars are moving, right? That's what I guess really takes you to the astrology land. But all of us have this ability to track patterns. So pay attention. Oh, I've seen that happen before. I've seen that happen before. There it is again. And sometimes when these things happen over and over and over, it's a little bit like that movie Groundhog Day. So we can finally make a shift that we need to make. And sometimes we try a shift and that shift doesn't work and we have to try a few more things. And it's all part of that human learning. But Sagittarius asks us to pay attention. Mercury and Sagittarius asks us to pay attention because there's wisdom. Even if we keep following that same pattern, there's wisdom in that. There's knowledge in that. There's understanding in that we can expand ourselves through. That's part of the energy of Mercury and Sagittarius as well. Expansion of understanding. I would say that Mercury and Sagittarius is the ultimate philosopher that's like, it doesn't really matter what happens, but like, let's talk about it. Let's see. And I think sometimes the world is like that. We judge things as good or bad. And I can't say that I'm completely apart from judging things as good or bad. I definitely still have that judgment. I haven't gotten to the place where I see something terrible and be like, maybe there's good in that. It's still hard for me to look at those things like that, right? But I do know there is the capacity to receive gifts from anything that happens, even if it's the gift of understanding and knowledge. There's expansion for us in that. And I encourage all of us, no matter what happens through the next few days, to see where we can learn from it and to know that God, Spirit, Universe can take anything nefarious, anything terrible, and use it for good. I do believe in that wholeheartedly. So Mercury in Sagittarius asks us to take that route. I would say with Mercury and Sagittarius, sometimes we can become so detached that we forget empathy. And so I remind you to bring forth empathy with any of your observations. That just helps us all as humans when we can be empathetic to the unfolding of things. Mercury in Sagittarius can also be known to put its foot in its mouth. Watch for that, especially when it comes to your beliefs. Your beliefs are yours. Everybody's entitled to believe whatever they want. I would say with this incoming retrograde, it's a great time to check in with your beliefs. It's a great time for shifting that. It's a great time to look at dogma, and if we're following dogma for morality's sake, or for like truth, right? Like, okay, this resonates with me. This feels right. This feels aligned. I'm going to leave that there. So, Mars into Leo. Mars is moving into Leo this evening. Let's see. 8:09 p.m. Pacific time. So, pretty late in the evening. And I will say we will have Mars at 0 waking up on Monday. That's not necessarily easy. Mars is definitely slowing down as it's preparing for its retrograde. It's only getting to 6 degrees before it retrogrades. Oh, hello, thumbs up. I think I did that with my thumb. So yes, things are slowing down. We're meant to slow down. We're meant to embrace our lazy lion a little bit. Looks like the universe is saying, I got some lion mane going on right here. But embracing that slow down with Mars in Leo. It's going to be in the sign of Leo into 2025. So, again, slow down as we finish up this year. Mars in Leo has us embracing our heart and hopefully moving with love, with our heart, moving forward courageously. Courage is definitely a key word with Mars and Leo. I would also say this is a call to move in and through our creativity. It's a reminder. I find it interesting that Mars is going to be in Leo as Pluto moves into Aquarius, because that's like community, right? That Aquarius energy. And Leo reminds us that every individual within that community is so important, and to have your own way of moving in and through the world. Again, with heart, with love, with joy. I see cat movement happening over there. So I'm like, what are they doing? What are they saying? Now, Mars and Leo can also have us moving with our ego, or moving with divine child, wounded child. And so we have to be really aware of where our ego is not ready for us to heal, where our ego wants to keep us the same, where our ego might be protecting us from our shadows. This is happening as we move through Scorpio season. And again, we might have reactions from the wounded child, so there's potential for healing coming up. But we may also find ourselves moving from that beautiful divine innocence, which is always such a happy. Can we move with the happiness? I will say this. I had a friend call me, and she was like, I really want to do this thing. She's a beautiful, clearer healer. And a lot of people were talking her out of it. She's like, I just feel so excited about it. I'm like, if you feel excited about it, go in this direction. Like, trust that excitement. Is it Joseph Campbell that says, follow your bliss? As I get older, the more and more I really believe, like, when we're in that, like, true joy, hopefully balanced as a person, following that can usually lead to so much goodness. And so keep that in mind with Mars moving through Leo. Now, of course, the retrograde is going to have lessons for us. We're already in the shadow, so watch for lessons around the ego. I would say as well, between the Scorpio and the fire energies coming online, watch for the fiery outbursts. Again, we are just past this Mars-Pluto opposition, the exact energy of it, but it's coming back around for us, and it's still there. So watch for the fiery eruptions that are happening. So, let's talk about today's astro besides these things. So, moon in Sagittarius, moving out of the new moon. Hopefully, Sagittarius helping us take aim. Sagittarius helping us look up and have right perspective and be excited and inspired. There's something about this energy that reminds us to be excited and inspired. Now, at the same time, we do have the Sun and Saturn connecting, and Saturn might inspire us through the shoulds. But so often those shoulds, they come from outside our soul. And I remind you, follow your bliss. To me, Saturn in its divine state is a reminder to align with our divine purpose, which feels exciting. Notice what feels exciting. Anything that feels exciting, anything that like lights you up, there's a reason. Does it mean it's the exact thing? Not always. But there's something in that energy for you to look at and be aware of. When you are lit up, there's something there for you. That was the thing with astrology. Is even still, I get lit up. I'm still like, ooh, let me look at the charts and see what's happening, you know? So what lights you up? What makes you get excited to dig a little deeper? Sun and Saturn. It's also a watery morning. It's fire and water. That is emotional. Fire and water is very steamy. I know we're having some crazy weather and fog here, but watch for the steam coming out of your ears. Like, you might get thrown out of your pendulum swing a little easier with this energy. We also have the moon in Sagittarius opposite Jupiter. If you had an easier time with that Mars-Pluto opposition, chances are you were feeding into that Jupiter-Venus energy that was like, I'm just going to take the high road over this one. Totally fine. Good for you. You have other times where you can feel the aggro of the Mars-Pluto, right? But moon opposite Jupiter. Keep your mind open. Stay aware of messages. The universe has a lot to say. Your ancestors, guys, just because Halloween is over doesn't mean like the door snaps closed. I believe that this energy really does extend through the time of Scorpio, which is why we have some fun cards to pull around that still. We also have the moon working with Venus. That's later in the day. Moon and Venus is always an interesting connection because sometimes it can be like, oh, I feel so good. And other times it can reveal unconscious worth and value stuff. So just be aware of that energy building. I didn't really look ahead for this week because like we made it through the thing. There'll be some things this week, but nothing worth digging in too deep to. We have the integration card. What I feel with this is there's still some shadow energies that we are working on integrating. So again, even though we made it through the peak of that transit, please like keep your awareness up. Not a guard, but your awareness. Speaking of receiving, we got some messages coming in. This is also the Queen of Cups. There are some feels. We got the Queen of Cups and the King of Swords. So our emotions and our mind are definitely playing with us a little bit. Keep your awareness. And again, if you go into hyper like higher perspective mode, remember to bring your empathy with you, right? Because not everybody's always there. We have the New Vision card. Like I said, between the moon in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, what are you aiming for? Where are you wanting to go? Keeping an eye on that, right? Like we want to stay in the present, but it's like driving. Where are you going? You want to be looking ahead. So, looking ahead to what? We have the Fool in reverse, but no matter who wins this week, no matter what unfolds, it's a new path opening. And with new paths, let me bring forth my Sagittarius, there's always possibilities. And there's always good, even if it's not the candidate that we want to win. And the universe has ways that it can work with any of these people. So, that's the space that I'm holding in this. Let's look at this card. Beautiful card, so Scorpio, the Golden Phoenix. Love it. And I'm going to read this. You retreated, rested, and recovered, and now you will reignite. Talk about all those fire energies. You thought something or someone was dead in the past, but this once lifeless thing of ashes is about to flame back into full existence. You are about to witness a resurrection, and you and the reborn will have the chance to create something of warmth and beauty together, something pure, innocent, wise that will benefit many. Life always finds its way, and you will have a golden phoenix guiding you to rekindle a dream you may have given up too soon. So, something is doing the Phoenix process. And this might be within you. It might be the fires of yourself coming alive again. This might be the fires of a dream recaptivating you and being like, wait, no, come, this is the way, and now is the time. Be watchful for what wants to come back to life for you. Gonna leave that there for today. Happy Monday. Book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com for that. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.